analytics is part of what is called the Google Marketing Platform. Google is one of the big companies that makes a lot of money from the internet. They make a lot of it from ads, they make a lot of it from marketing, they do offer services and products and other types of things. But in addition to offering other marketing tools like ads, AdSense, a variety of other tools, they offer analytics, and it collects data on website visitors for a website owner, and it's free to use. There is a paid version for really heavy data collection, but for the average, probably 95% of all websites, they can use the free version and find it much more than adequate for what they might need to do with it. I don't even use all the features that are available in it because it's so extensive, but it does give me a sense of what's going on my website, which is what we want to do. It's for website owners. Anybody that has a website that wants to know what in the world is going on with it might want to look at Google Analytics, but particularly small businesses and large businesses and nonprofits. Because if you're making money and the web is part of your business, or you're a nonprofit and you're driving donations, or even if you're a pizza shop and you're trying to track things like your takeout orders and things like that, analytics gives you all kinds of ability to track all kinds of information, because when people use Google to search the web, or they're using their web browser, they have a tracking tool that they've given Google permission to embed in their browser. And so Google is able to track a lot of things about the people that are using the internet, and they make some of this available to website owners through analytics. But it doesn't matter what size website you have, it's free. Generally, people that have websites want to know how much traffic they have coming to their website. But it would be nice to know, like, what web pages do people visit the most? And how long do they stay on the website? What countries do they come from? So we'll be able to see how it collects a lot of that data. It's, again, for customer insights. Why would somebody want it? It really helps them improve return on investment. A website is like a retail storefront. It's a business investment. It's designed to attract customers, attract donors, attract people that might be interested in your topic. It's designed to build a relationship with them and give them a reason to stay longer. You just don't know what customers are doing when they're on a website without tracking some kind of information. But every time we click something on a website, we are supplying data to Google, and Google collects it and makes it available through analytics for the website owner. So you'll see how much data is collected. It's really pretty impressive. So it collects things like demographics. Well, how does Google know what your demographics are? Well, you have a Google account, and chances are when you're using your Google browser, Chrome, you're logged into your Google account, so Google knows a little bit more about you than you may think. They might know your address, or at least the IP address of where you're browsing the internet from. Google can tell you what traffic source, whether you're coming to the website from a Windows computer or a Mac or a mobile smartphone, or even what they separate into high-end smartphones and other types of things, or where the traffic came from. Did people search on Google? Did they go directly to your website? Were they referred by another website to you? So they can tell you the traffic source. It's nice to know where referrals come from when you're running a business of any kind. They will tell you what web page are visited and what's most oftenly visited. If you have commerce transactions and you want to have analytics track that, you can ask analytics to track how much commerce takes place, so you can see how many visitors to your website, how many of them result in sales. And if you run ads on Google, you can see how your ads are performing. That's integrated into analytics as well. So it is a complete marketing tool for anybody that's really trying to make money on the internet in any way from their website. So it's really a valuable tool. And again, it's all 100% free. This is analytics. This is Bobology. This is my Google account. I have a home. I have reports. I have Explore. I don't run ads, but if I did, I could view advertising. And I have an admin function down here where I can track some things. If somebody hits your website out on the internet, you know nothing about them. So analytics helps you collect information about them. Let's take a look at some statistics first. Okay, this is showing me the number of users and in the past 7 days. So a lot of my visitors are new users, and it tells you how much of an increase or a decrease you're having in a period of time. And it shows a dash line concerning the preceding period. Obviously, traffic to a website is a good thing because you get more visitors, and it's like if you're running a business, you have a prospecting funnel where you got to get a lot of people in the funnel in order to get one customer out of it. Now, I mostly offer information about my training classes and the calendar schedule, so I'm more just concerned about traffic on my website. But I do run Google AdSense on the website, so it's helpful for me to understand what types of things get more traffic. And because the more traffic I have on the website, the more times people will click on an ad and the more money I'll make from AdSense revenue. Okay, so this is just a general graph. I can change this to view it for today or over the last 28 days, and it'll give me a comparison. So it's about 10% more, and some days are busier than others. I'm finding that weekdays tend to be busier than weekend days, and it gives me a little bit of information there. It tells me how many users have been on my site, visiting my site in the last 30 minutes, and where they are coming from. So I see one user is from Mexico, one user from Pakistan, and one user from the United States have visited my website in the past 30 minutes. Okay, this is real-time view. Okay, so I'm going to visit the real-time view here, and you'll see a graph that'll show me worldwide how much traffic is coming and where people are coming in and what they're doing. So it's a global view of everything that I might want to look at. There's some suggested information here. What views am I getting by page? What are the most popular pages? So this is a page called What Are iPhone Alerts, Notifications, Badges, and Banners? It's been at one of the top pages on my website for a long time. And it's got 320 views. It's actually gone up 23% in the past 7 days. Another one, what is Wi-Fi? Okay, 107 views. As I scroll over these, I'll get more detail on each page. The home page, bobology.com. What is a mouse over or mouse hover? What's online and offline? What's a Facebook check-in? What are CDs and DVDs? That's over the past 7 days. Okay, so I can change the time frame to say the last 30 days. Let's see if that changes, because now I can get some idea. If I've got a product, which is a web page, and I want to understand how's it doing since I put it up, right? I can compare it. What's going on here over the past 30 days? Well, pretty similar, results. Okay, let's go even longer. Let's say this year. And over the year, it's really one of my most popular pages on my website. People really are confused, frustrated, want to know more about iPhone alerts and screenshot and other things. So there's other things. I can view pages and get more detail here on each individual page. So this answers your question, Joe, when you have a slash after your .com. So if I have Bobology.com slash what are iPhone alerts, notifications, badges, and banners, right, as a URL, each web page is a URL. So I can see statistics for each of these pages by rank order. So I can see views, I can see users, and a user is considered the same user identified. They might view the page several times. Views per user, average engagement time. How much time do they spend on the site viewing something? So some people might visit a web page a lot, but if they don't stay on there more than a few seconds, they're really not reading it or engaging in it. Okay, so pages that people spend a lot of time on, like over a minute, they're probably reading in it. Okay, this is the average. So some people might look at the page, say, nah, I don't like that. I'm going to go back to something else. But if they look at it, engage it, generally, if they're going beyond 10 or 15 seconds, an average view, they're getting a sense of it. So this tells me that people really are interested in this type of information. And so these are, and there's another one called What's a Notification, which is another page that has to deal with notifications. It's in the top 10 as well. So it gives me a lot of data and how it's information that is being used. So I get information here on all these different views that are provided in different formats, different graphs, different layouts, just so I can get a sense of how much information there is. Now I have 347 pages on my website, or that is tracking. So I can continue to go on. I can see the next rank. Okay, so this will actually is tracking data from every page that it identifies on my website. So I can see which ones are most popular, well, how many views they get, how much time people spend on them. Okay, so one of the important ones for me is the classes and training calendar. People spend over a minute on that. That means they're probably looking at the classes and training that they want to look at. So this is telling me how people are engaging with my website. I can create custom reports. I can get more insights from this. So I can see things like demographics. I can see what languages do people use the most? What are the top cities by user? Okay, so I can see London. Some people are not set, so their city isn't being tracked, but London is actually a very active city for me. It's actually more active than Los Angeles or Chicago or Bengaluru is in Pakistan, I believe. So this tells me that this is, interesting data that I can get from Insights. The Insights is a really great new tool that gives you the ability to track a lot more information than you might be looking for otherwise. I can share these reports with other coworkers if I want to as well. And I can edit different comparisons. And I can filter different things. So this tells me a lot about the traffic on my website, and it just shows me what's going on, and over a trend and time frame, I can get a sense of what's going on over a period of time based on what people are looking at on my website. And obviously, the more web pages you have, and the more web pages you have indexed with Google, the more likely you are to show up in search. But how do people really find my website? That would be a good thing to know, wouldn't it? That's under what's called acquisition. How do I acquire people that visit my website? Well, this is a view that's being presented for acquisition overview, users per minute. These are little cards that they will have, but I can see how people first find me is through what's called organic search. That means they're using Google search and they are finding me through organic search. Google might refer people to a web page on my site. I don't run Google ads, but if I did run ads, it would tell me how many visitors and how many people were finding me through ads. So I'm getting direct people. That means they're going directly to my website, mostly probably through my newsletter, or they're familiar with my site that people are seeing. So that's an overview of acquisition. So this gives you a little more data about user acquisition, breaks it down a little more detail that you can see how many people are finding you and getting in for, to you. And most people are finding me through organic search. Referrals would be a referral from another website to my website, Bobology. So if somebody saw an article or they saw a link in a Facebook post or a social media post that they clicked on, that's organic social. Organic video might be somebody that sees me mentioned in a YouTube video and then goes from a YouTube session and then goes to visit my website. So you have a variety of information. You can tell how people are finding you. And then there's another called traffic acquisition, which gives you a little more breakdown. So we can create a path exploration. What journeys do people go with tree graphs? Okay, so let's see what kinds of things people do. So I can find out what kind of path people go through on my website if I want to. And I can choose how I want to find that traffic and where they go. And this is like all users. We can explore different other types of settings, like freeform insights with custom charts and slides, and get an idea of active users. This just as a freeform, it gives you tremendous ability to start tracking people based on criteria that you might set up. So if it's important for you to reach people on, say, mobile, you can see that mobile is a little more traffic than desktop, but I can get a sense of people that are coming to me through tablets and even smart TVs, because smart TVs have browsers as well. So I have different ways to visualize these reports in different ways so that I don't have to take this data and import it into any other kind of reporting tool that I might want to utilize. So let's take a look at user attributes. Okay. And an overview will tell me a little overview of users by country. Where are they coming from? You get people from China, Russia, Spain, France, Brazil, South Africa. I can see the users by city here again, and I can get more detail. I can get users by gender. It's about a 50-50 audience, male, female. So this is where Google is giving me information based on information Google knows about its user base. So Google knows, based on your Google tracking history and account and other things you've utilized, it has some demographic data about you, and it lets me see. Now, one of the surprises that I was surprised to see was the users by age demographic. I would have expected a lot of my website activity, traffic and articles to be towards a little bit older age group, but it's a very young age group that is the most active. And I think that's because they're learning. Part of it could be because my articles try and explain technology a little more simply, and the language might be easier to understand for people outside of the country, or it might be used by people in high school or college that are just trying to get better understanding of technology or get information to help out a family member. And you can see that there's a wide range here, and I can get more detail on age ranges. We'll take a look at that in a minute. I can find users by interests. Okay, so I know people are interested in technology, what hobbies, media, entertainment, movie lovers, news, politics, technology. So I have a lot of demographic data here that is available for me to look at. So let's take a look at age ranges here for a second. And I can see that it not only breaks down the age range, it tells me how many people are coming from each age range, how long they spend on my site, and what they do. So it's interesting that 65 plus spends over as a minute average, whereas 18 to 24 is 39 seconds. And that probably has to do with the fact that they consume information faster. Younger people tend to like the information fed to them at a faster pace. And I can see the relative traffic trends over time here and seeing what's happening over time. So if I want to look at other demographic details by country, I can have the ability to do that. So I can see United States, India, very popular, UK, Philippines, Canada, Australia, Sri Lanka, a lot of data that is available through user attributes. Go back here, take a look at another free form here, and it's creating reports for me as I go along so that I can see different types of reports and data that I have generated. So let me look at audiences here and see the audience over time. And let me go to the tech. Okay, the technology tells you a lot about the types of users you're pulling in based on the technology they're using. Every time a user accesses your website, Google Analytics will track what kind of platform they're using. Most of my users are coming through Windows. Most of them are coming through iOS. Okay, and that's different from Mac. Okay, so it tracks the operating system. A lot of them are coming through Android, and then Mac, a few from Linux, and a few from Chrome OS, and actually one BlackBerry. I'm surprised it even tracks BlackBerry still. Okay, and then it shows web mobile, people using their mobile browser, or they're using their desktop browser, they're using their tablet, or they might be using a smart TV. And let's see what platforms tells me, if anything, just web here, a little bit of information. Exploration gives me the ability to get into a lot more types of attributes and other things. Now, if I were monetizing my site and selling products, okay, I would get information on the sale. But I do monetize my site through Google AdSense. AdSense is the amount of revenue I get when people click on an ad. If you go to bobology.com, you'll see ads that are displayed as part of Google AdSense that appear on my site. And when people click on an ad, Google makes money and I make a little bit of money. Okay, it's about a 60-40 split roughly. And I can see what kind of traffic I'm getting each day. I mean, some days I'll get $8. Some days, it'll be like 12 cents, type of thing. But I have noticed that it does peak during the weeks and it goes down on the weekends, oddly enough. If I take a look at this time frame, here we go, the time frame, and I see how long it's collected data here. If it's got any data for 90 days, you can see it's pretty, consistent, and it tells me over 90 days, through running ads on my website, I made $178. If you're really trying to make money out of a website, this data becomes important because I can say, well, gee, if I saw that the actual, number of people that visited the web page, the most popular web page was What's iPhone Alerts, maybe I ought to do another article about iPhone alerts and notifications, if that's something that really people are interested in, and that might generate more data for me. It might generate more traffic and monetization if I want to look at that. I don't really have any e-commerce purchases, but you can track that if you want to. I don't sell anything typically directly on my website, but if you were selling products directly, you could track what products people are buying. You can see what they call the purchase journey. How do they get to your session and where did they go? The checkout journey. If you ran a Google Play Store app and you were running an app, you could track in-app purchases that people might make in your app if you published an app. You can see publisher ads that, and see this tells me where the ads are showing up and where people are looking at them, and any promotions that I might run. I'm mostly referring people to classes that they can sign up for through community colleges. But you can see it gives you a whole lot of data that you can start to look at and analyze, depending on how much detail you want to go into and over how much time you might want to look at it and see what kinds of trends are developing over your site and get more information. These charts go on and on and on. Okay, so you can just choose which ones you'd like to have preferred on here. And so these are things like ad impressions. That's how many ads appear, page views, how many people are viewing pages with ads, when they start a session with the site, which means they're engaging with multiple clicks on the site over time. And so these are, and then you'll see reports that you've just viewed to get a sense of what's going on with your site in general. And you can see now we've got somebody from India and Morocco visiting the site. So it'll tell you how many people are coming on, where they're coming from, what kinds of activities they're doing, and whether you should start to make some changes. Obviously, anything with business is about making changes and modifying your products and services to give yourself the best benefit for revenue. And it gives you all this analytic data because, again, you can't physically see the user and understand what they are doing when they're browsing your website. It's free. It's able to work with virtually any website that you use, and they continue to collect more and more data for advertisers. So, when you run an ad in a newspaper or on the television channel, you don't know much about the person that saw the ad. And that's one of the drawbacks. Whereas with the web, you can get a lot more data about people that are coming to your website and people that are viewing your ads and people that are engaging with you in some way. And this gives you the ability to track that through analytics for your website and get a better sense of what you might want to be doing or what you might want to change to make your website more appealing to people, or build up an audience.